Beneath all that relentless action and the biting humor of two completely broken heroes searching for meaning, there's actually a surprisingly poignant tale. Today, in this explainer, we're going on a continuous, linear journey following two men who have completely lost their way. They're both drowning in their past mistakes, desperately trying to figure out if their lives actually matter in the grand scheme of the multiverse.
So, how exactly do a washed-up used car salesman and a variant, literally dubbed the worst hero in the multiverse, end up saving reality itself? Okay, let's dive right into this, because this core question sets the stage for an epic journey from utter insignificance to ultimate purpose. It's a story that completely strips these characters of their former glory and throws them into a desperate, high-stakes collision course.
Section 1. A Crisis of Purpose. The narrative really kicks off with a man grappling with a severe identity crisis. Wade Wilson, once known as the mercenary Deadpool, has officially hung up his suit. After a crushing rejection from the Avengers, where he was told they saved the world because people need them, not because the heroes need it for their ego, Wade just spiraled. He lost his relationship with the love of his life, Vanessa, and settled into a startlingly mundane, unfulfilling life selling used cars alongside his friend Peter. He is quietly desperate for his life to mean something. And this feeling of insignificance perfectly mirrors the immense guilt carried by Logan. While Wade lost his relationship and purpose because he couldn't measure up, this specific version of Logan lost everything because he simply wasn't there. When humans hunted and killed the X-Men, Logan was away at a bar. Sure, he survived, but the weight of that failure totally broke him. Visually and thematically, these matching failures cement exactly why they are perfect foils for this story.
Section 2. Finding the worst Logan.
So Wade's mundane life gets completely shattered when he's suddenly pulled from his timeline by the Time Variance Authority, or the TVA. We meet this ambitious middle manager, Mr. Paradox, who drops some devastating news. Wade's world, his timeline, and everyone he loves in it is facing impending, inevitable doom. The reason for this decay introduces a crucial concept. An anchor being is an entity of such vital importance that when they die, their whole world slowly withers out of existence. Wade's universe is decaying because its anchor being sacrificed himself in a timeline-shattering event, and that anchor being, it was the original Logan. Without him, Wade's entire reality is just unraveling. Paradox intends to use a machine to speed up this process and essentially mercy-kill Wade's world. But Wade absolutely refuses to let his friends die.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Wade's reaction. Realizing he desperately needs a Logan to anchor his timeline, he steals a TVA device and begins a frantic, chaotic jump across the multiverse to find a replacement. First, he tries digging up the deceased original Logan, which, as you can imagine, fails spectacularly. Then he starts hopping through timelines, encountering wild multiversal variants. We're talking a short King Wolverine, the legendary Cavalrine, and even a tuxedo-wearing alter ego named Patch. Finally, desperate and running out of time at the 3-hour mark, he finds a drunken, broken Logan at a bar and forces him back to the TVA.
Section 3. Banished to the Void.
Well, Wade's grand plan completely backfires. Paradox takes one look at this replacement and just laughs. He reveals that Wade hasn't just found a random variant. He has brought back the absolute worst Logan in the multiverse, the one who famously failed his entire world. Disgusted by Wade's interference and entirely unwilling to stop the destruction of Wade's universe, Paradox uses the TVA's technology to prune them both, banishing them to a desolate wasteland. And this brings us to their new reality. The Void is basically a metaphysical junkyard. It's where the TVA sends people, variants, and entire pruned timelines to be consumed by a massive, storm-like beast named Alioth. It is literally a purgatory of forgotten heroes and discarded timelines.
This brutal wasteland is ruled with an absolute iron fist by a tremendously powerful mutant, Charles Xavier's megalomaniacal twin sister, Cassandra Nova. Cassandra is terrifying. She controls the Void, effortlessly manipulating minds and feeding anyone who defies her straight to Alioth. When Wade and Logan are brought before her, Cassandra completely violates Wade's mind. She physically reaches into his thoughts, forcing him to confront his deepest insecurities, namely the haunting memory of Vanessa breaking his heart and telling him he will never matter. Taking advantage of her being distracted by Wade, the duo barely manages to escape her compound in a rundown Honda Odyssey, speeding out into the borderlands of the Void. It's right in the aftermath of this wild escape that the walls finally come down between them. Logan delivers a heartbreaking confession about his past. He explains his ultimate failure, how he stubbornly refused to wear the X-Men suit, how he walked away, and how he wasn't there to protect them when they were slaughtered.
He admits he just wants to be the man his mentor, Charles Xavier, believed he could be. This shared trauma of failure and self-hatred finally bonds him and Wade, turning them from reluctant allies into true partners.
Section 4. The Resistance Strikes Back.
Driven by this renewed sense of purpose, Wade and Logan travel deeper into the borderlands, and this brilliantly illustrates their next move, because they encounter a group of absolute survivor legends. These are the Forgotten Heroes, characters whose timelines were pruned or whose stories just never got the endings they deserved. The Resistance includes Elektra, Blade, Gambit, and Laura, also known as X-23, the very mutant the original Logan died protecting. Tired of hiding from Cassandra Nova and Alioth, this group is looking to make one final glorious stand. They know they likely won't survive, but they want one last chance to avenge their lost universes and secure a proper ending to their stories. Wade convinces them that if they team up, they can force Cassandra Nova to send Wade and Logan back to save Wade's world.
So the Resistance outlines what is basically a high-stakes suicide mission. To even get close to Cassandra without her boiling their brains, they absolutely need to neutralize her telepathy. The plan? Attack her heavily fortified base, fight through her army of mutant henchmen, and secure Juggernaut's helmet, one of the only items in existence actually capable of blocking Cassandra's psychic dominance.
Against all odds, the attack is a brutal, chaotic success. The Resistance fights bravely, and Wade manages to slap the helmet right onto Cassandra's head. But here is the massive emotional twist. Wade is perfectly ready to let Cassandra be killed by one of Paradox's rogue agents, but Logan steps in. Logan chooses mercy over vengeance. He explains that Charles Xavier wouldn't have let her die, and to honor his former mentor, Logan spares her. Deeply moved by this unexpected act of grace, a grateful Cassandra uses a magical sling ring to open a portal, finally allowing Wade and Logan to escape the void.
Section 5. The Deadpool Core.
Our heroes step through that magic portal and bam, they're back in Wade's home timeline, Earth 1005. But things are looking incredibly dire. Paradox has completely bypassed TVA protocols and finished assembling his apocalyptic machine. The clock on Wade's universe has basically run out. The Time Ripper as an accelerant device used to swiftly destroy the space-time matrix of an entire universe, and Paradox intends to use it to wipe out Wade's world. However, the threat instantly escalates. Cassandra Nova, furious about being betrayed by Paradox's rogue agent, follows Wade and Logan through the portal. She doesn't just want to stop Paradox, she wants to take control of the Time Ripper and use it to destroy absolutely all realities, leaving only the void for her to rule.
To buy herself some time as she heads into the subway to hijack the machine, Cassandra stalls Wade and Logan by summoning an army. We're talking 100 bloodthirsty Deadpool variants from across the multiverse. A massive, violently chaotic showdown ensues. Wade and Logan fight side by side in a stunning display of carnage, but the regenerating variants just keep coming. Incredibly, the tension is only diffused when Wade's remarkably mundane friend Peter arrives on the scene in his TVA suit. Turns out, the variants absolutely revere Peter across all timelines, and his simple presence miraculously pacifies the entire Deadpool Corps.
Section 6. The Ultimate Sacrifice. Let's move to the climax and see how this all builds up. With the Deadpool Corps actually standing down, Wade and Logan race underground. They find Cassandra Nova plugged into the machine, actively shredding the fabric of the multiverse. Paradox, absolutely terrified of what he's unleashed, tells them the machine is unstoppable from the outside. Our heroes are left with only one desperate, fatal option. Paradox explains the procedural, ticking clock puzzle required to short-circuit the machine. Step 1, they must access the secure underground chamber containing the machine's core. Step 2, someone must act as a physical bridge, creating a circuit between the matter and antimatter feeds. But the huge catch? Mixing matter and antimatter will instantly atomize whoever completes the circuit. It is a guaranteed death sentence. Wade actually locks Logan out of the chamber, completely determined to make the sacrifice play alone. He echoes the lesson he failed to learn from the Avengers years ago, stating, "I'm not doing it because I need it, I'm doing it because they do." But Logan bursts through the door anyway. In the story's absolute emotional peak, Wade and Logan grab hands, jumping into the feeds together to share the fatal blast. By sharing that immense load and combining their regenerative healing factors, they prove that they have finally found a purpose worth dying for.
The sheer power of their combined action completely overloads the system, and amazingly, Wade and Logan miraculously survive the blast. The feedback loop completely atomizes Cassandra Nova, shutting down the Time Ripper and saving the entire multiverse from unraveling. In the resolution, the TVA arrive to arrest Paradox.
We learn that Wade's universe is officially regenerating, its timeline completely secure. And rather than returning to his lonely existence, Logan chooses to stay, finding a new family with Wade, Laura, and his friends.
These two started as completely broken men, totally isolated by their own failures. But they learn that true purpose doesn't come from a pristine legacy. It comes from connection, sacrifice, and fighting for the people standing right next to you. If a universe only survives when we are willing to fight for each other, it leaves us with one question. Who is the anchor being in your own life?